Good afternoon, brother. Happy New
Hey,
Year to you.
happy New Year to you too, brother. Yeah, you and yours, LB and family.
Yep.
Yep, it's all good, mate. Yeah, well, it's another year, mate.
No,
2026. You
yep.
know what the hell happened?
2026, mate. What can it bring us this year?
I don't know, but it seemed like I just went to sleep and I woke up and it's another year. You know,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
It's a bit
Mate.
like that, eh?
It's
Yeah.
a bit like that, yeah, mate. Yeah. No, it's going to be a good year. I hope, mate. I hope it's going to be a lot better than last year. Last year
Well,
was a bit
well,
disappointing.
it was a real up and down year, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was, mate. Yeah, lots of stuff happening. I guess and it wasn't all good stuff. You know what I mean?
No. Definitely wasn't all good stuff. So,
No, it
yeah.
wasn't all good stuff, mate. Yeah, only good stuff. Well, I suppose if you're a Queenslander, you won the Origin.
Yeah.
Broncos won the grand final. Lions won the grand
Yeah.
final. All that sort
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad. I mean, in that respect, but in terms of kind of humanity stuff, Jesus, mate, it's
Yeah.
getting
Look,
worse.
yeah, there was definitely, it was definitely up. It was like a real roller coaster, brother. Like, so,
Oh,
you had
absolutely.
your real ups and your real downs, and
Mm.
like, it's just, yeah, it was a strange year, if I can say that. So,
Yeah, strange year, and I think that I think you know, I can't see it not getting any stranger. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Yes,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
but the main thing is, brother, we need to, as the individuals, as families, we need to get on and be happy, and concentrate on what we're doing. I think, yeah, it's important that we maintain our own individual health, but then also look after our family and friends.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right, and I think,
Yeah.
and we bang on about this a bit, about being able to look after yourself so that you can look after others as
Mm.
well, and I don't think that changes, and I think as everyone gets a little bit older, you got to spend a little bit more time looking after yourself, and doing the things that you need to do rather than
Yeah.
you're still going to worry anyway, but worrying about what everyone else is up to, and
Mm.
some of those things you can't control, brother. So you
No,
need to
that's true. Yeah,
you need to
that's
have your own stuff on point, and then it's in a way that you can help others. So
yeah, that's right, mate. Yeah, I guess we need to be responsible kind of adults, I guess, and lead by example. I guess that's the sort of stuff we need to do. But and it just sort of really crushes you when you see people struggling. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, definitely,
Families fighting
definitely.
and all that kind of stuff. It's really just not good, not good. But yeah, you've got to change that, I think, and you can only change it. Only thing you can change is what you do. You can't
Yeah,
change it.
yeah.
That's
No, yeah. I mean, it's hard, and it's something that hard, that happens for everyone. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
about
definitely, mate.
being
Yeah,
able to, like, as we say, look after yourself, and then you
yeah,
can start to look after others as well. So,
exactly, brother. Yeah, wish there was a way. Wish there was some sort of magic
so
button or an on-off button or whatever to stop our kids getting locked up. You know.
well,
Uh,
I was just having a yarn with a very good friend, just not even half an hour ago, and like, he was really worried about the impacts on that alcohol was having on some of our communities, and what can we do about it, and
mm,
he's really high up in Queensland Health, if you like, and he's been tasked with writing a few reports and all this sort of stuff, and doing a bit of work in communities, and trying to
mm,
find out what's going on. And I mean, he was actually, like, it was like he was devastated. He was traumatized by what he was able to see in some of our communities, and I know
mate.
the communities he's talking about. I'm not going to name them, but um, like, I've done a bit of work in there, like, a few years ago, and it doesn't seem that it's changed much from what he's saying, and like, it's that level of the intoxication. So, you know,
Mm,
um, when we talk about that, that's not the only impacts it has, is it, on our own
Yeah,
health? Because then you've got some of the the violence that comes out, some of the other important health issues, like as we all know about diabetes and those sort of things. So there's so many different issues that come out, brother. So
yeah,
uh,
absolutely. And not only that, but it's also, we're role modeling a younger society into into following into those bad behaviours. I guess it's I don't know. It's I think it's got a I don't know how it can. Like I said, if there was a button that we could push that'll turn it all off, it'd be great. But it's no such thing. You know what I mean?
no,
It's a big issue. It's a big issue. It stems from a lot of things, I guess. We talk about it a lot. I mean, people. There's a whole range of different issues. I go into communities delivering mental health first aid. You go in to deliver your programs to them as well, and I think we just got to keep doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? It's and hopefully that small bit of knowledge, I suppose, what we share, especially stories, helps to get people thinking a little bit more. You know,
yeah,
what? Yeah,
and look, I mean, I think, and I'll just go back to that conversation I had before. Like, you got some of the older fellas, the cultural fellas, if you like, in communities saying, well, what I was saying was, when we were there last, they were
yeah,
saying that there is some hope there. There's still some things that we're able to do, but now what Jeff was saying was that they're now saying, these older fellas are now saying there's no hope, and
mm,
that was the difference for us when we were there. The older fellas were saying that there is hope, and that some of the younger fellas were saying there's no hope at all for them young fellas in community, which then leads to like issues like drinking and the intoxication side of things, which also then leads to like in some cases suicide. So
suicide. Theft, crime. Domestic violence, violence in itself, not just domestic violence, but violence against each other. A whole range of things. It's yeah, I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know what it is, mate. And you know, yeah, you think being a small community that could all be, we live in big places. That you live in, where you live, and I'm living in here at the moment, but I lived in Cairns and Mackay and all over the place.
yeah,
Um, there are issues within those big places as well, but you could see that there's not a great deal of um, help or hope. You
yeah,
know, uh,
yeah, yeah,
in those larger places. But you would think in a smaller place, you'd think, well, obviously there'd have to be some sort of community council. Everyone knows each other.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
they, you think it'd be easy to play off the same sort of play sheet, you know what I mean? And say, well, okay, we're going to stop doing all this sort of stuff. We're going to have a bit more pride in our community, who we are as people. We're going to get back into culture, which is what really is the bit, because that was stopped a long time ago. Well, all of that. Get back into that, because it's like I think I remember you saying to me, telling me a story up White Air, where there was a bit of violence going on, and some of the old blokes got pulled it up. They were able to settle it all down. And then I was telling you that over here, like in Bali, they have a lot of ceremony, you know, and we have a lot of ceremony as well. But when that ceremony happens, you were telling me that everything
yeah,
stopped,
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
ceremony.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So we need to get our young people and our whole, and well, not just young people, but everyone in the community to start to focus on a bit of culture, learning the stories, learning the history, learning the everything. The
yeah.
language,
Oh,
the
definitely.
dance, the songs. And getting back to that, I think
Yeah,
it's
it,
and have, yeah, it's I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I agree, mate. And I think that's the thing is, like we don't know, but like surely, working with mob, we can they know what their issues are, they know what their concerns are, as we always say, CJ. But the thing is, it's about they also know what some of the solutions are, and if we can work together to be able to get some of those issues sorted, well, I think it goes a long way to help it. So, and as you say, I mean, some of the smaller communities, and that's what Jeff's saying there. One shoe doesn't work for all.
Mm.
Yeah, look, we agree with you, Jeff. We're not saying that the one size fits all, if that's what you meant. Um, and he said, I think you tackle one community at a time, and
Mm.
look, I think you're right, brother. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, we've all done a lot of work in community, and we love doing our work in community, and we want to
Mm.
see people start to improve and decrease the likes of suicide and
Yeah,
and and the family and domestic violence and the overall violence. I mean, as you said before, CJ, so
that's right. Yeah, decreasing the suicide, decreasing everything. It's kind of increasing. You got to increase something. You know what I mean? You got to bring back something. And yeah, I remember an article up in Groot Island. It was, and they had like a tribal council type thing up there where
yep.
they turned around. Those statistics around crimes. Crime rate went right down because they were then getting young people involved in a lot of things like traditional kind of practices. I guess hunting, fishing, culture is again that sort of stuff. So um, yeah, and it's all about all those things we just mentioned before is all about we're not we haven't got hope. We don't have pride in ourselves. We don't have they don't have it's that thing about loss of identity, I guess, and connection, that type of thing. You know what I mean? It's so I don't know, mate. It's
Well,
I hope 26 will see some of that stuff coming out. I hope yeah, a bit better.
And I think you're spot on too, brother. I mean, I think with what you're saying there, like hope it's a big, big word, but people see different things in the word hope.
Yeah.
Hope for us means that there's something bigger and better coming, like or
Mm.
things like that. But for some other people, it's a real like it's a chance. There might be hope, there might not be hope. So.
Mm.
And I guess that the old saying is if we haven't got hope, what are we? We're hopeless.
We
So
hope that's right,
yeah,
mate. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a really massive
Mm.
concept, I guess. And as
Yeah.
you just said, then it's also massive, around that sense of belonging, that identity
Yeah. Yeah.
side of things, because a lot of our younger ones are getting mixed up in some of the different cultures that are around, and like even following some of the darker music, if you like, and those sort of
Mm.
things. And where do you go from there? So
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, we've got to get away from that. What society, and this is not inside our community, but outside our community, is expecting. You know what I mean? It's we're trying to be like others, I guess, and it's not. And we need to be ourselves. You know what I mean? It's that's just a kind of sometimes it's a false bloody uh, aspiration, if you like. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's kind of
oh,
like we're never
definitely,
going to be like
definitely.
that. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
never going to be like that. We just want to get in our culture, and
yeah.
I find that in these people here. They don't want anything. They live a simple life. It's really simple. They just work, 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 and fund their ceremonies, and none of them have got big flash houses or anything. Like that.
But
It's kind of
even with
really.
the thing there, though, CJ, is like you never see any waste, though, do you? Like
No,
everything's used to.
yeah, mate, they're having a bit of a problem with waste at the moment. I've got to say that only because it's the manufactured waste. It's all the plastic and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
in terms of what was in those things, they don't waste a thing. You know what I
yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
But what's happening at the moment, they've closed down the dump, the,
Oh, okay.
and they're not going to fix it up until next February, they reckon. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
so there's
Not this
trucks and
February.
trucks. Yeah, yeah, coming up. Yeah, well, yeah, this
Oh,
February.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Yeah,
there's trucks
yeah,
and trucks and trucks are full of. So I don't know where they're offloading their their stuff. But one of the things that has happened, and we've noticed only the last couple of days, we've gone down the beach and a lot of rubbish on the beach, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there must
That's
be
pretty
something.
sad, eh? That's pretty sad.
Yeah, it is pretty sad, mate. Yeah, so the government here needs to get on their, get on their bike and sort that issue out. And they usually do that stuff, but I just think they didn't do any forward planning anyway. So, and it's, this is how they do it in Bali. This is what they do,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's but yeah,
Hey,
back home, I suppose it's really about like I think Jeff said, the biggest issue is getting by buy-in from everyone. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But not necessarily everyone outside the community. It's got to be done inside the community. They've
Well,
got to own.
you see, and this is the issue again. And if we go back to look, hopefully it's getting better, but I don't know if it is. But like you always have, the government and their top-down approach, where they'll talk about community consultation, and they might come in and talk to two or three people in community, whereas like the true essence of community consultation would be getting a buy-in, as Jeff's saying, from everyone. So being able to put it out there that this is happening, or you're having a public meeting or something like that, so that everyone is able to come and have an input. And I think we need to get some of the younger ones involved in that as well, because there's plenty of things that have happened that aren't working. So let's try and work together to be able to create a better future for our younger ones. So
really have a listen to those young people, because they, like you say, what we always say, the solutions are always within the community. Young people have got some ideas, and even though they might live in remote communities, there are opportunities to. That's if they want to do this, to get involved in online stuff.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but maybe it's not about connecting to the wider world of the internet, but it might be about connecting communities together.
I mean, see, the thing that we try and do, CJ, is when we go into communities and we work with community, it's not about like, and you're the same, so it's about follow up, and it's about creating that chance for everyone to have that follow up, so that it's not just looked at as coming in and then never seeing it again. But what we try and create as well is a Facebook or a WhatsApp group when we leave, so that everyone that in that community that wants to be involved in having discussions like that, and it might be about what's the biggest problem that we can tackle with the available resources. So
exactly, mate. And
just little things
before
like
all of this happened, they just struggled on their own. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They just struggled on their own. They don't know who to talk to, and usually the people they do talk to are government people who tell them what to do. So. But yeah, you're right, and I think that's something that we've got to continue doing, I guess, and maybe even going a little bit further in terms of being able to mentor people in communities.
Well, I mean that's the other thing that we try and do, CJ, and it does come down to resources as well. But we with that champion, that Facebook group or WhatsApp group, we try and have a champion in community wherever we go. So we will talk to local mob and try and have one person there where we can utilize that person to be able to help us with running a program, or doing those sort of things. So but it does come back to resources as well. So
yeah, it does come back to resources as well. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, mate. Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, forever and ever people have been going in and just leaving, that type of thing, and not having any. Well, that person who went in isn't the person that came back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
different person all the time. Yeah.
And you're spot on, brother. And like our mobs say that whenever you go in, they'll say, like, um, there's been people in and we never see them again. So what's the point?
That's right.
So
Yeah, I know. Mm,
and so that's why, like with our programs, we won't. If people say, if we're talking to people and they go, "Can you come and run a program?" We'll say we can. There's no dramas there, and we do it as as cost efficient as we can, But
yeah.
the thing is, we will say, but we can't only be one visit. There needs to be 2 or 3 visits to be able to make this worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. It's consistency, I suppose, reliability. You've got to once again is really getting in there and gaining the confidence of community. Having some, showing some respect and having some, returned, I guess, all that kind of thing. So people have got to feel comfortable with you. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And you can't do it in one go. If you go back and you do what you say you're going to do and say, yeah, I'm going to come back in about a month's time or 2 weeks, I'll be back. And you go back, and that's what helps, I suppose. And like I said, sometimes it's no one goes back at all, or who goes back is not the same person. So you got to start all over again. Start all over again with the community. That kind of
Yeah,
engagement type stuff.
and that,
It's
and
really
that and that also brings like when you're actually doing that, people have to tell their stories over and over and over again. So
yeah, that's right. And they get sick of telling their story.
yeah, yeah,
That old adage that Aboriginal people are the most researched people in the world.
yep,
Is so much true.
yep.
They keep giving information, but nothing happens.
Mm.
They start. There's I don't know how much research has been done in a lot of communities, but they certainly open up and eventually open up and give you the information, but there's no sort of
We-
where
And,
to go.
and I think the other thing too, you're spot on. And I think the other thing is as well is that, like it, when you have those researchers that do come in, and I'm not saying all researchers,
No,
because
that's right.
as we say to our mobs, like we're all researchers. We all ask questions and we all get those
Mm,
answers. So we can look at ourselves as researchers. But some of
mm,
those researchers that probably used to come in, they'd be researching 3 or 4 different communities. So they'd come to my community, they come to your community, they come to Jeff's community, they come to someone else's community, and then they'd go away and they'd write it up, and then they'd come back and they'd say, "Now, CJ, you said this or that," and you'd go, "No, I didn't say that."
yeah, that's
And
right.
you find out that it might have been me that said that or Jeff that
Mm,
said that.
yeah,
So
yeah, that's
so
right.
you have to be really careful too with that whole process of
Yeah.
evaluation and the research that's happening. So
And where does it go, mate? Even if we, you've done your job well, you've got that important, that important information about some of the issues that they're facing, and they've come up with some kind of solutions, and you take it and you hand it over to the funding body, and they do something with it, but then nothing happens. And my thing is that I feel terrible about that, because hold on, I've got to get onto the government here, because those communities aren't going to get onto them,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
and start to advocate on behalf of those communities, because this is um, it seems like they give you the money to do something just for the sake of ticking a box. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
And they're not actually acting on anything. They're not actually doing anything to support communities.
Mm. Mm.
And so
Yeah, and I think another thing like that, brother, is like if we go back to the referendum in
mm,
2023, like I know in the lead up to the referendum, we would be going into community, we would be doing our work, and we would be asking about, like, so what do you think about, the voice and the referendum, and a lot of mobs, and I'm talking about remote mobs, and they would say, "What do you mean, The Voice?"
absolutely.
You're
Yeah.
talking about the TV show The Voice,
Mhm.
or things
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So, Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, brother. And
I think probably this will be controversial, but I've always thought forever and ever that 1967 referendum, even though that was an overwhelming success, that no one in community out bush knew what that was all about.
Yeah, 100%. So
And
same
and would
thing. Same
and
thing.
would they have voted yes? You know what I mean? They probably would
Yeah.
have no, hold on, no.
We-
But because our mob are only like 3% of the population, everyone else voted yes, so it wouldn't have mattered whether they voted no or not. You know what I mean? So I really honestly think that if you're going to have a referendum on someone's rights, that it's someone needs to be doing the voting only, not anyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, we said that the whole time along, like, why wasn't it, just to vote for, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, so.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's once again, it's the whole of Australia making decisions on Aboriginal people.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not Aboriginal people making decisions about it for themselves.
Nah,
you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, and that we're never going to win that. We're never going to win that. You know what I mean? If everyone is voting on what we should be doing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, hold on.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's
I agree totally.
go that way. Fair enough. If mob out bush don't want anything to do with it, then we won't have anything to do with it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but anyway, it's kind of a bit skewed, I suppose, in terms of the outcome. But then again, JB, after the referendum, we went out and we talked about it. We asked them about, because we were talking about mental health, and how they feel after that, and they were all disappointed. People that we were talking to, they were disappointed that that the result was so skewed, I guess. It just says what Australians think of Aboriginal people.
Well, and I think a lot of Aboriginal people thought, that it sort of it didn't help with the racism either, brother, because it actually gave, and like you hear it a lot in community, it's given people the green light to say what they want to say about blackfellas, So
when they held that referendum, they took the empowerment thing off us.
Yeah, definitely.
They took the empowerment thing off. They talk about empowering communities, all that kind of stuff, and they disempowered us. Other people making decisions about us. It was kind of wrong, really wrong. Anyway,
definitely. We've got Jan Hogan there. So she said, "Happy New Year, everyone from Brecon Beacons in Wales. We avoided the fireworks as our elderly dog is terrified and hasn't been well. We are isolated farmhouse away from the world. Good work.
Well done. Yeah,
you too, Jan.
Yeah, we're terrified of the fireworks too. We left early. I was telling JB before we came on that went down the beach and 8 o'clock they started. We got home at about 9:30, 10 o'clock in bed. But the fireworks are still going on outside our villa, so till 3:30. So anyway, it was like
So someone had a good night anyway, CJ.
I reckon. Well, I've got PTSD from it, so I jump every time I hear a loud noise now. So anyway, yeah, bloody hell. Anyway, but I'm there for your dogs.
Definitely. Terrible. Yeah, no, it is.
Jan, Happy New Year, by the way. So yeah.
And the other thing we were talking about, CJ, before we come on was the cost of all these fireworks. Like where we are, they put on which look lovely. Don't get me wrong, but surely the cost of that could go to some community.
Absolutely, mate. You could have solved. You absolutely. 3 or 4 communities could, be living well now. You know what I mean? And not just living well in terms of wealth, but in terms of life. You know what I mean?
They could change some things up. They could, like as we were saying, you got stormwater pipes that come in over the ocean. Dig them in under so that they you don't see those, or things like that, and that's
Yeah.
and I'm only saying that because right where the fireworks was, there's this
You can see it.
storm water. Yeah, that's what you're looking at. You know what I mean? So
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's money up in smoke, really, mate. Yeah. Was that the anyway? I don't know. Was that the message from Deep Purple Smoke on the Water or not?
I think it might have been, brother, actually, because there was a bit of Deep Purple there as well, but there was plenty of smoke on the water.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hoping fireworks get banned. Yeah, definitely, Jan. Yeah, they definitely banned. I know they banned on the island just off here called Noosa. They're not allowed to take fireworks onto the island anymore. So yeah, communities actually burnt up and said, "No, we're not. They're not coming on here. We
Oh,
can't
that's
let them."
good.
Yeah, bloody hell. Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
And as Jan said before, like how many dogs go missing and how many dogs are, you talked about PTSD before. I mean, the trauma that it causes some of those animals is,
Oh,
you
it's
know,
terrifying, mate. Yeah, Did I tell you we spent NT Day up in Darwin? Yeah, that was a experience, brother. You got to go. Well, you go up. I think it'd be good to go up, but it's pretty hectic. But anyway, there was fire started. Like there was bush fires behind the road. I think it was called. What was it called? Bloody Fanny Bay, and then there was a road called Dick something. Yeah, drive, and there was a big fire there. Of course, the fireworks. We went to where they were at Fanny Bay, or just off the kind of water there, and they were lighting up. Keys Cowboys were lighting up fireworks that could have been used over in Afghanistan. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, they intention was to shoot them up in the air, but they'd fall over and they start going sideways, and there were people running for cover everywhere, getting burned. Really.
I think that the time you're talking about, I think we were working in Wat Air at the time because you were living in Darwin, and we flew in the next day, I think it was. So, and seeing you guys. So, yeah, I remember you talking about that. So.
Man, that was an experience. Yeah, and I think you need to have a license to buy these things. Really.
Yeah. We probably need more than a license. You probably need a bit of common sense as well, brother.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you got to keep alcohol away from it. So everyone was kind of NT Day by the time they get to about fireworks time. They've been drinking all day. They do drink on NT.
See, I mean, this is the thing, brother, and we were just talking about our communities before, and the impact of that intoxication and all that sort of stuff, and how it impacts so many other things, and that's just another one as well, brother. So,
absolutely, yeah, and it's like I don't know what Jan thinks of St. Paddy's Day, but that's all about drinking. You know what I mean? It's kind of like wow, Melbourne Cup.
Yeah.
People just go there to license to drink.
Australia Day, mate.
Oh my God! Well, bring back the biffo there. That's what it is. Bring back the biff. Yeah. Anyway, it's disgraceful. Really, it's not funny. It's disgraceful. It's just not.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, and like you think about, like. What happens in some of our communities, if that was happening in our communities, there'd be a stop to it straight away. Like there'd be people going off their heads. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I mean, it's probably easier for someone to get lost in a city. In a larger town, easier for someone to be alone, and suicide is probably ideology is probably rampant in bigger places because of that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're out there on your own, really, and you kind of, and when we talk about those times where St. Paddy's Day or whatever it is, Australia Day, it's a time to go and get drunk. You know what I mean? So it's
you're right, brother.
You know what I mean? And that could lead to a whole range of different things. But I just I put a bit of a post up for 2026 or 2025 really, And because we're living here now, you see all the media that get about Bali every now and then, how bad it is, and all that kind of stuff, and that affected all their tourism, by the way, and people stopped coming over. But that happens in Australia too. Everything that happens here happens in Australia, probably twofold, yeah, or threefold. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you're right, mate.
yeah, it's yeah, no, it's pretty sad. But anyway, mate, I'm hoping, like, we've had a big year. I think it's been really good. I think it's another year. It's probably almost our 6th year. Well, this is our 5th year, isn't it?
It is. March will be our 6th anniversary, brother.
Yeah, that's right. So we're actually in our 6th year then, brother, are we? This is the end.
Yes, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, it's been another year. We've seen 6 years go past us. Lots of things have happened in that 6 year, really. It's kind of like, I don't know. We talk about generations and what we've seen in our generation. What we've seen in the last 6 years has been a lot too. Referendums. We've seen a whole range of different things happening.
COVID.
Some great things happening, some really good things, and I think some of the great things we've learned is from people who come on and have a yarn with us.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
You know,
I think that's been the highlight, brother. I think that
yeah,
people being able to come on and share a little bit about what they do, and I think like we said it a couple of weeks back, I think too, brother. I mean, just the beautiful connections that have been able to be made, between like different people from different parts of the world, and and the friendships that have been formed. I just think it's been amazing, the I suppose the impact that something like this has been able to create, so.
yeah, absolutely, brother. Yeah. And that's what we, and I think that's, what we hear from people who have, like, that we get on here that talk about what they're doing and who they are and some of the things that they've been into is really inspiring. You know what I mean? It actually gives people that HOPE, that
Yeah.
some things work, and I really, really want to thank people for coming on here, I suppose. I think that's the thing we need to be very grateful that they do come on here and are able to share, because all of a sudden our community that come on as well and listen and spend their time listening to us two blokes talking about whatever. I think that's what really brings them back, is to know that there's people out there doing some really good stuff. We talk about stuff, and
I think it's spot on, brother. I mean, and like it's beautiful to be able to hear people like Jan's story, Jackie Bates, from different parts of the world, but also our own mob, like whoever it is that comes on to share a little bit about what they've been up to, what their life's been like, and those sort of things. And the other thing too, brother, is that there's so many people that just sit back and they don't comment, but we know that they're there because they'll say, oh, when are you coming back on, or when you're doing the check-in, and things like that. So that they're there, and they'll say, oh, I really enjoyed that yarn you had last week, or things like that. And you go, oh, well, there's other people there that we don't see. They're just in the background, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's great. I mean, people do watch this. They don't necessarily catch us. They will probably miss this on tonight, but they'd probably have a check on it later on and see that we've been on.
Yeah, and that happens a bit, eh? So
it happens a bit, and well, what I'd like to do is actually thank those that have been on, but encourage those that sit back and have a story to tell. Don't be afraid to jump on with us. We only Jack asks the hard questions, and I'll try and make it feel at ease, that type of stuff. But anyway,
well, I think the perfect example of that, brother. I mean, like there's been a few people of late that have come back on, and it's been 3 years since they've been on, and 4 years since they've been on, and look, we'd asked Mark Williams to come on, and it took 5.5 years to get him on. You know what I mean? So,
what a story! Oh my God,
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
learn the ditch, all that kind of stuff was just amazing, you know, and yeah, you know, things don't just happen. People aren't just born with the didgeridoo and they're, you know,
No, no, exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah,
he picked it up late in life, you know, type of
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Really,
definitely,
it
definitely.
wasn't running around as a kid playing didgeridoos,
Yeah. So we've got a
but to
couple of
learn it,
comments. We've got a couple of comments here, brother. Jan, sorry I missed what you did for New Year's. We went to a nice Welsh pub for some good food and real ale. We'll
oh,
take you when you come to Wales. You're on,
oh
Jan.
my
We
goodness, well,
we we're in the planning stages. We want to definitely be able to come to see you guys, so we'll take you up on that 100%. She also said, shout out to Patrick Wayne and Jackie Bates. Missed them on here. Yeah, look,
yeah,
shout out to both those guys. Jackie, been talking to her a little bit, and Patrick Wayne is back in hospital. We sent him a message last night for New Year's, and all the best, brother. And like hope you're feeling a bit better today. And Jan also said it's the knowing someone cares that's so lovely.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Look, mate, I don't know. Anyway, you know, that's right. I don't know. I've got plans to get over the UK at some stage in 27. So, uh, you know, we'll see what happens there. But next year well, I can't say next year. That is next year. This year
Yeah.
we're heading back to Spain again. So, you know, and that's just for Michelle's what's her name surgery. But um, before that, before we go back over to Europe, we're going to be back in Australia for a little bit
Yep.
in March, April. Yeah, so we're going to spend a bit of time down in New South Wales, down at Tari
WA,
Oba.
you said then, brother.
And Tari Oba, I missed out the S and the N, so and put in an A there. But yeah, we'll be down at Oba and Tari, and probably drive back up to Brisbane, Gold Coast, and then fly back up to Cairns before we head back to Bali again. So,
Nice,
um,
nice.
so
Well,
yeah, I might.
you make sure when you're in Spain next time that you catch up with Jan, because I believe it's only a jump. What's it called?
Hop, skip,
Hop,
jump.
jump, and a skip, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
To Wales. So make sure you catch up with her.
yeah. No, that'll be fantastic.
We're going to when we get there. I just don't know when
Yeah.
it's going to be. So if it was up
Well,
to
JB.
Albie, should be there tomorrow. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, don't forget Camino Way in July.
in July, is it
Yeah, that's what I'm
Camino
saying.
away
Yeah.
in July? Is it okay?
Camino Way in July. Yeah, that's it. That's when we probably a couple of weeks after Michelle's surgery, and then I'll bid her goodbye. She'll be left in good hands, and then I'll jump on start in France and then head across the Pyrenees.
So how long's that, brother?
Well, this one that I'm talking about is 780. You'd probably run it and get through it in less time, but it's usually about 30 days. It's about a month.
Oh yeah,
They
okay.
do. I think they average about between 20 and 30 kilometers a day. That's
Yeah,
it.
okay. That's
Yeah.
that's good though. That's good, eh?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Now, brother, you did promise us something when we spoke the other day, that you would be doing a short video for Move for Mibamba for January 2026. So we're
okay.
expecting that in the next couple of days, all right? So
Oh well, yeah, okay. Yeah.
no, I've just been told now, CJ.
Next 24 hours.
Yeah, next 24 hours. So
Yeah, well, I'll get up in the morning. I'll move from Mibamba. So
all right.
how's that?
Put it
Yeah.
up on the Mibamba page, brother.
I will do, brother. Yeah, I think I did tag the last one I did on there.
Yeah, no, you did, and you did well. You did, and you did well.
Yeah,
Now we're expecting that little Move for Mibamba. You're the January 2026 champion.
January,
So
yeah.
just going to encourage people to move a little bit.
Well, tomorrow will be a good day.
Whatever that looks like, brother.
I will get out and do a walk tomorrow because it's my birthday and I'm 66.
It is your birthday too.
66. You've come to one of my birthdays.
I have, yes, definitely. I
So,
think it might
yeah.
have been the 60th, actually.
No, yeah, may well be. I'm not sure because I know I had. No, it wasn't at my 60th. No, it was probably 60.
Wasn't it 60? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe 61.
So, yeah, 66 tomorrow. That's a good number, I reckon. I reckon it's going to be a good
Beautiful,
year.
brother. Beautiful. Yes. Yes.
But I'll start it with war. How's that from Uber?
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you. Now, Jan said 2 hours from Cardiff Airport to Spain. Love to host you in Wales. We'll plan an itinerary.
Oh, what are we flying from Spain to Cardiff?
2 hours from Cardiff Airport.
We're there. It's like flying from Brisbane to Cairns. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
still in the
definitely.
same state,
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I love it like that, isn't it? Yeah. All right then. Yeah, that'd be great. But anyway,
Right.
that's good. I've got a job to do this January.
You have, mate. You're onto it.
Yeah, like I said, I just woke up and it's 2026. It's just crazy. Anyway,
Okay. 2026.
what happened to
It's
2025?
a birthday tomorrow. It's your
Yeah.
anniversary the day after. Is that right? Or
Correct, Amondo.
yeah.
Yes,
So
39th anniversary.
happy anniversary to you and MJ. Happy
Right.
birthday to you for tomorrow, brother.
Get all of this out of the road so we can get a clear run at the year.
Yeah. Straight up.
Straight up. Yeah, it's a marathon. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, but I've got my
Oh, that's
son's
good.
birthday coming up on the
That's
16th of January,
yep.
and I'll be back in Brisbane for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
We might be able to catch up for a coffee because I think we're going to be. I better not say where we're going to be because I don't know. I'm not allowed to touch the calendar anymore, brother. So
I've been told I'm going to be there on the 14th. So anyway, that's where I'll
I'm
be.
always told where I'm going to go, brother. So.
And it's good that we are told because we got no idea what's going on.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
And it's good like that, isn't it? We just don't know. We just
we just turn up and we do the work and we do whatever we're told, brother. That's our life. So.
That is, yeah. I know. My wife says, "I wish she'd organise some bloody thing." And I said, "No, you're good at it, and yeah, I'm happy, Yeah, but anyway, I better do so. I better lift my bloody weight there a little bit. I think. Yeah. Anyway, but mate, good to see you again. Happy New Year, 2026. It's going to be a massive year, I think. Another massive year.
Oh, definitely. And Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everyone out there. Hope it's a fantastic year for everyone. A little bit better than 2025 because it was a really up and down year. Thanks to everyone for joining in and watching, and thanks again for everyone that's contributed to us coming on and having a bit of a yarn, brother, and most of the time talking shit, but that doesn't matter, brother. So
yeah, and that's right, and we're just a couple of fellas. That's it. I think we're pretty open in terms of what we talk about. You know what I mean? It's not. We try to make things normal.
I think that's what people like a little bit about it as well, is because there's no set agenda. People can talk about what they want to talk about. They can talk about what they're doing, or they might not want to talk about what they're doing. But there's no set agenda, and we all just have a yarn together, and that's
right,
why we love getting people on.
It's a check-in. That's all it is, brother. And yeah. Well, there you go. It's another year.
Another year, brother. Another year. And
remember that we had COVID, thing called COVID as well. Oh my god.
Well, that's what I was saying before. We had COVID. I mean, that was what actually started this off, brother. So there you go.
Yeah.
So and Jans has said, love to you and the girls. Happy 2026. So thank you, Jan. The same to you, and all the best. And I hope the dog's recovering well after that.
Yeah. And Jeff, if you're still there, mate, all the best as well.
And
I'll watch this a bit later on. All the best. Have a think about coming on. Let us know. We're quite happy.
I was just going to say, Jan, it's about time you come back on and had a yarn, and you too, Jeff. So we'll look forward to that. We'll talk off air, and we'll be able to get you back on and have a yarn again. So everyone have a great rest of the week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk soon, eh?
Yeah. See you later.